Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are in the book of Hebrews all week long. Hopefully you have been encouraged, challenged, inspired that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through him. Everything is revealed and has come true from the Old Testament to now the New Testament as we going into the book of Hebrews. Jesus is better. He is the fulfillment of the law, the fulfillment of all the prophecies from the Old Testament. And that's why we've been saying Jesus is better. Hopefully you have been encouraged and challenged, inspired through the Word of God. I'll be reading the last part of Hebrews chapter 4. Encourage you to read the first part of it as well. Why? Because it is the Word of God. It is powerful, and that's what verse 12 tells us. Listen, verse 12, Hebrews chapter 4. For the Word of God, this right here, is alive, it's active, it's powerful. It is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. This right here, it penetrates, it goes deep, because there's a lot of things in our life that we like to keep hidden. We like to put a front on. We like to, put a mask on. We like to pretend like everything is okay. But when you get into the Word of God, it exposes every area in the innermost, deepest, darkest thoughts and selfishness that we have. The Word of God does that. And it does that for our benefit because it is active. It's powerful. It exposes those things so that we can be healed, so that we can be redeemed, so that we can be reconciled back to God the Father. Listen to verse 13. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before his eyes, and he is the one to whom we are accountable. Again, like I said, we like to keep things hidden. We like to, pretend, but there's no pretending. There's no deceiving God. There's no hiding from God. So let's not pretend, but let's expose ourselves in vulnerability, in humility, and say, God, I'm a wretch. Would you please save me? I don't deserve it, but God, out of your love, I come to you. That's the heart, that's the posture that we need to be going to God the Father with. Verse 14. What I'm so thankful for is that when we feel down, when we feel discouraged, when we feel like nobody understands us, listen to verse 14 in Hebrews chapter 4. So then, we have a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus, the Son of God. Let us hold firmly to what we believe. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. I mean, I don't know if you can find a more encouraging verse than that right there. He doesn't look at us and see our faults and see and bring us down or look down on us. What he sees, he empathizes, has compassion, care, and his grace is upon us. So because of that, we can now boldly go to the throne room of God through Jesus, because he's what he's done. And he can empathize. We have a great high priest, Jesus, who understands everything about us, who has been exposed and tempted in every way that we have, and yet he did not sin. So would we find a strength? Would we find self-control? Would we find a love and joy that only comes from our personal relationship with God the Father through Jesus? Let us boldly go to him today. May you find rest. May you find security. May you find a renewed identity in him today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.